Hey guys and gals, I was asked to do a quick check-in on how we're doing as far as religion in our schools. Are we keeping up with the law? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Are we doing enough? Are we doing too much? So what I did is I put together a quick little Google Slides that kind of goes through the high points of it, and we'll go from there. All right, so first off, background. Probably what brought this on is earlier this year, Trump in the White House reminded the 50 states that teachers and students are free to pray in school. The president also reminded the states that federal funding depends on allowing the First Amendment right of freedom of religion. So we could lose our funding if we're not doing this right. So it's very important that we are doing this right. So what I did is I broke it down into separate sections, and we're going to talk about those sections briefly. So students, first off, students do have the right to pray during non-instructional time. They also can engage in a religious activity or discussion, just like with politics. So if they want to have a religious activity or discussion, they can do that as long as it's not infringing on other students' rights. So that's the one thing that we need to make sure is that the students are not infringing on other students' rights. Teachers and administrators, we have rights to exercise our religion. During duty hours, it gets a little less free because of the Establishment Clause. We may, during the school hours, we may disclose our religious identity, like if someone asks us if we're a Christian or whatnot, or they saw us at church or something along those lines, we may disclose that. That's not illegal. We may pray or study the Bible when it is not instructional time. The big thing is we cannot force our beliefs on students in the form of posters, books, other ideas. So it is very important that we keep that part out of our classrooms and offices. Outside of the class day, we are free to practice any religion that we like and kind of however we like. If there are meetings that are happening within the school, there may be some kind of a sticky situation there, so we might want to look into that into further detail. Within the classroom, it was ruled in 2010 that saying under God of the Pledge of Allegiance was not establishing a religion, so it is okay, so we can still say the Pledge of Allegiance. Moments of silence. We may hold moments of silence as long as they are secular and they are not forced. Religious literature. We may have students read religious literature provided it is for the literature aspect or historical lessons. We cannot use them as devotionals. Student assignments. Sometimes students are going to turn in assignments that may have religious tones in them, and they need to be graded on merit, not on beliefs. Within the classroom continued. Religious obligations. Sometimes students need to leave for religious obligations and they can be excused from the class for that. They also may be exempt from classes based on their religious beliefs. Holiday programs, this is a big one. Holiday programs, they need to remain predominantly secular, and also a student needs to be able to opt out without penalty. So if they don't feel comfortable singing the songs, we cannot give them a 0 on the performance because they did not feel comfortable with that. Intelligent design, this one's a hot debate. It's been around for quite a while, so it still continues. It cannot be taught because it is religious rather than scientific theory. That's the latest on that. Outside of the school day, if we are going to rent out the school building, we need to do it with anyone. So if we rent out the school building to the Boy Scouts, we need to rent it out to a religious group if they so choose. So we cannot show any bias to or against religious groups. That kind of goes along with speakers when we're choosing our speakers, like our graduation speakers or assembly speakers. They may pray, but our administration might want to make a caveat or make a disclaimer that that is not everything that is believed. So also when we're getting speakers, we cannot show bias when we choose our speakers. So we can't show hostility or favoritism, I think is the words that they're using there. So we need to be appropriate in choosing our speakers. So that is kind of a really quick overview of the most recent legislation and what's happening in the courts and what's being viewed. So we need to make sure that we're kind of staying on top of this, because religion in school is a liquid situation and we need to remain proactive. The best thing that we can do is kind of keep up with the courts, keep reading, and keep on top of it. All right, thanks.